Oi, oi, people. Hope everyone's having a good Thursday morning. So, Arsenal keeping a clean sheet and beating quite possibly one of the greatest Manchester United attacks ever assembled. Maybe since Tevez, maybe since Rooney, maybe since Berbatov and Ronaldo, that 09 attack. Watching and winning 2-0 at the Emirates. Yes, the Manchester United Galacticos were in full assembly on Wednesday night. So it's featuring the likes of Joshua Zerkamp, the Ivorian Messi, Garnaldo, Hoylandinho, and of course, let's not forget Rash Figo. They were all in attendance last night. There are wins and there are wins. There are losses and there are losses, people. Not only are Manchester United well and truly in the mud, SAEED and RANTS, you've got to join them, brothers. Those wild takes will haunt you guys forever and a day. I am absolutely telling you that, boys. Just to clarify, look, I like both of them. Fantastic guys, fantastic content creators too. But when you're throwing out names of two of probably the best football brains the world has ever seen, you know, two of the best footballers you'll ever see play the game, Lionel Messi and Dennis Bergkamp, and you know you're comparing them to Joshua Zirkzee and all of his couple of goals, and Amad Diallo, who's after 4 years of being at Man United, is finally starting to play somewhat well enough. Yeah, wow, man. That's not good. Yeah, that is good. And do you know what? It made me realise something, people. I didn't realise how hard Manchester United actually fucking fell. Falling. What I'm saying, they continue to fall. What am I talking about? And that is some serious shit right there, man. You know, I never thought I'd be saying that. I grew up watching football in the mid-90s. So I've seen all the Manchester United teams. I've seen some absolutely phenomenal ones. And this one, you know, I haven't quite seen an attack featuring Joshua Zerkamp quite in my life. And I'll tell you what, it was terrifying to watch last night. I was shaking in my little boots, not just because I was wearing shorts, but because the Manchester United attack just frightened me. It was petrifying with all the world-class names that they had up front. I mean, Rash Figo pulled out another worldie, didn't he? What a player. Look, appreciate everyone for coming and supporting the channel as always. Double respect. If you're in here, hit like, hit subscribe. It all massively helps the channel. Big up anyone in the chat. I know it's not usual time that I stream, but when I got in a little bit later last night back from the Emirates, do you know what I mean? It was just a little bit too much. I sort of couldn't be bothered. So I thought, do you know what? I've got a cheeky day off. Why don't I have a little cheeky 1 o'clock stream and see what that's all about? Do you know what I mean? I'm not expecting loads of people in here, but we'll have a little laugh at Manchester United's expense anyway. Do you know what I mean? Because that's why I'm doing this stream. United. How the mighty have fallen, people. I mean, this is a fall, man. So like, I've been to quite a few festivals, in my time, right? I've been to Glastonbury a couple of times. I've been to Isle of Wight, V Festival. I've been to Reading a good few times. And do you know what? This Manchester United team quite remind me of that. And not because they're like a headline act. In sync, you know, someone like Kiss rocking the fuck out of the stage. Love gun. No. They remind me of the festival toilets. You know, on a Monday when you're about leaving and they're absolutely full to the brim of a weekend of shit. That is exactly what Manchester United remind me of. You know, that dirty shit that you can smell from a postcode away. That is this Manchester United team. I mean, they are atrocious, people. There's going to be no waxing lyrical of Manchester United here. It's more like whack fucking backsack and absolute crusty arse crack waxing here, mate. They are shit. And do you know what? I hope them little Manchester United fans, I hope they enjoyed their little travel home. Here's a little violin for all you poor little Manchester United fans on your way back to Manchester, soaking up what was not exactly a battering, was it, at 2-0? Let's face it, it wasn't even a good game, and we'll get into that. But your team are fucking shit. Absolutely fucking shit. I'm sorry, people, but that is it. I mean, the second I saw that lineup from the new Manchester Messiah, Amorim, I thought, wow, this team is weaker than Amir Khan's chin. Sorry, what are we doing here, man? It's madness. And I knew they'd stink the place out, and you could sort of tell from the very, very, very sort of first minute what they were going to be doing. I mean, you had Onana absolutely time wasting from the first few seconds. I mean, did anyone notice it? He was doing it throughout pretty much the whole entire first half, wasn't he? I mean, it was absolute atrociousness from him. But do you know what? Onana's performance, it culminated quite nicely in the 87th minute, his little pantomime performance when he was rolling around like an absolute little bitch on the floor. Big Sam, what did you make of that? Absolutely pathetic, wasn't it? Absolutely pathetic. And that's what you get, Mr. Onana. Do you know what I mean? If you're going to come there and do this sort of shit, you know, you've got to be getting a little bit of laughed at, you know? But, hey, what can we do? So, obviously, I was saying, of course, I was in attendance yesterday, Arsenal v United. I was there at the Emirates. Now, whilst we did get a comfortable win, it weren't the greatest performance, was it? I mean, let's get it right. We can have a little bit of laugh at Manchester United's expense, and there's a lot of laughing to have that. I mean, they are shit. They're dog shit, absolute trash. But let's face it, that first 45 minutes I'm gonna sort of talk about just in itself was an absolute snorefest. It was crap football. Now, what I've been saying on this stream for the last few sort of games, because we've seen Arsenal start on the front foot against Nottingham Forest. We've seen them start on the front foot against Sporting Lisbon. And we'd see them start on the front foot against West Ham. And look at the way we played. It was absolutely fantastic. Going attacking from the front foot. Do you know what? Even in games like that, yes, I don't like to lose because I want to see Arsenal to win. But if we play properly and attack and we were just bested, I don't sort of mind that. They're the losses that you can take. So I just thought, do you know what, Arteta, maybe after 3 games, after 3 big wins, he might have kind of remembered the blueprint. Go out and attack. But maybe Manchester United just stank the fucking place out so bad, so bad, we almost just went down to their level. I mean, Onana was standing there with his foot on the ball for about 5 minutes. And, you know, Odegaard and Thomas Partey and Kai Havertz and co, they were just sort of stood there watching. It was very, very, very frustrating. There seemed to be no oomph, nothing about sort of Arsenal's attacking play. And it was an absolute disgrace, weren't it? You know, and I was really surprised that we weren't going to be a little bit more on the front foot. But I've got a couple of people I see this from Darren. I know he's not in the chat, but he said this to me last night. Red Army, a good win, but Odegaard disappearing again in a big game. He is a shambles and should be put on the transfer list first thing in the morning. Now, look, I agree with a lot of what Darren says all the time, and I agree with some of this. Yes, Odegaard, he's got a tendency to go disappearing in the big games, and to be fair, he did go a little bit wandering in this one, didn't he? The transfer list in the morning, I don't know. But look, with Odegaard, I'm on the side of if there's a replacement out there, that's better. And there are better players than Martin Odegaard out there. I'm all for it. You know, if Arsenal wanted to get, say, a Verts in or, you know, someone like that could come in and be an upgrade on Odegaard, either put him on the transfer list or just bench him. I'm all good with one of the two. I'm not one of them love fest in players. You know, I invested a lot in the team that wore them kits, the 2002 to 2004 teams, because they were winners, like that guy over there. But, you know, these sort of players I'm not got invested in. I'll happily see any of them sacked in a heartbeat to get a better team in. Hendo, how you doing, my man? Good afternoon. Yeah, good to catch your lunch, I'm sure. Yes, it's the first time I've done it. Like I said, I wasn't expecting a fest of people to sort of be coming here. It's the first time I've done it, but I wanted to make sure I got a little bit of Man United fan reaction in, because, I mean, as much as Arsenal were absolute crap, I mean, you got to admit, it's absolutely hilarious having a little bit of a laugh at Manchester United's expense, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Michael, how you doing, brother? Big up, Aaron. Manchester United still in the mud, mate. Yeah, they are stuck there, mate, and they ain't getting out anytime soon. Lego Heads Dark Arts 1. Yeah, listen, man. While we're sort of talking about that, you know, I'm going to touch on a little bit what Hendo says as well. To be fair, Arsenal were not great last night. Yep, they absolutely weren't. First half was a stink fest. It stank the place out, Rob. Thank God for the set piece goals. And this is sort of what I was going to talk about. It's sort of half a shame, isn't it, really, that Gabriel weren't in attendance, because, I mean, he would have had an absolute fest last night. One thing I can say is we were putting in corner after corner, especially in that second half. I can more sort of say the closeness of it because I sit in North Bank and we attacked down that in second half. A lot of our corners, our deliveries were actually on point. I've been heavily critical down the years of Arsenal through their delivery into the box, but they were on point last night. And if Gabriel was there, I'll tell you what, we would have absolutely given him a whipping, and that's just from the corners. The open play was absolutely stinky, but yeah, I must say them corners were pretty much on point, boys. But fair dues to the two that we took. Look, it is what it is. The game I actually thought, especially when we got into the second half, I thought, do you know what here? This just stinks of a Manchester United sort of smash and grab 1-0 win, because neither team were just anywhere near at the races. I mean, Manchester United, their starting lineup was absolutely atrocious. So I thought, oh, you know what? Maybe we could have a little go here. But what did we do? Again, Mikel Arteta didn't start from the front foot. He shut the bed and left skids on his way out, didn't he? It's very frustrating. But yeah, thank God for them set-piece goals. We hadn't actually scored too many this season. I think that was our 4th and 5th of the season. But one thing I did sort of read yesterday was that Manchester United actually hadn't conceded, I think, from 2 set pieces in the same game since maybe, was it 2013 or something like that, which is quite a surprising sort of stat. But let's face it, if there was going to be any team to do it, it would be this particular Arsenal team, because we can't score any other fucking goals mostly. But at least we've got something to fall back on, you know, when we ain't on the front foot. I suppose if you want to look at the positive side of things, at least we have sort of got them set piece dangers, you know what I mean? It's sort of sometimes the way we would deliver them in that second half, it almost felt like a penalty sort of. I know obviously not as much, but Manchester United, you can see their defence. You could, especially when that young kid Euro come on, you could see his legs wobble, boys. So I said he was proud of their loss. Oh man, like, this is what I'm saying, man. He needs to stop digging. I mean, you can't get much lower than the Ivorian Messi, can you? Oh no, actually, wait 1 second. You can get much worse than that. Dennis Zerkamp from RANTS. I mean, what are we doing here, man? They're excellent streamers, the pair of them. But I mean, that was an absolute stinker of a shout, wasn't it, man? It was an absolute stinker of a shout. Michael, what we're saying, yeah, trust the process. It's took a new journey from North London to Manchester. Yeah, trust that process, man. And big up Dad's in here. How you doing, mate? Dad's fresh from kicking my ass at Paul the other day, 5-0, by the way. Yeah, it must have been the queue. You know what I mean? It must have been the queue. Yeah, that's why I got an absolute pounding. But Dad, what you saying, mate? Quick stat. Arsenal are top at scoring from set pieces. Yeah. And they are only also third in conceding against set pieces. Yeah, I think, to be fair, from set pieces, I think we lead the way since the start of last season. I think it was like 22 or 23, something like that, I read. So absolutely fair dues to him. I mean, at least you can show a different way of winning, but it's not the way I want to beat Manchester United. I want to beat Manchester United regardless. Let's get it absolutely right. But I do want to beat him with a bit more flair. And I thought, you know what, when I started looking at that lineup, I thought they were there for the taking a little bit. Bit frustrating, but yeah, it was a little bit was like a war zone yesterday, and then maybe more in the second half. In the first half, it was more like a ball zone, Dad. I mean, there was just absolutely nothing going on. But yeah, it was an absolute disgrace, and that's the frustrating thing. Partey, well done, Thomas Partey. You chose a very bad game to drop what I actually think was one of the worst performances of the season so far. Now, I did see him pinging a couple of nice little balls into the sort of box. A fair dues to that. You know, he's got that in his locker. But, I mean, I don't know what it was like for anyone watching it on the telly, but all I saw is him just giving it away time and time again, especially in that first half. And even in the start of the second half, you know, he was just constantly giving it that way. And it was really sort of breaking and disabling our play, you know. We'd sort of get the ball and you think, that's why we've got Thomas Partey there, to get out and wriggle out of tight spaces and make an excellent, or even just a nice, simple, progressive ball forward, but do it more times than not. And yesterday, he just weren't at the races, was he, Thomas Partey? I mean, I don't know anyone in the chat, whether you feel any different. Maybe it was a little bit different. Maybe you didn't see as much watching it on the telly as maybe I did in the stadium. It's sort of one of the things when you are watching it in the stadium that you're able to sort of hyper focus on sort of one particular play, you know. So once I sort of noticed that he kept giving the ball away, I was more maybe paying attention to him, and you don't really get that opportunity sort of on the telly. So maybe it looked a little bit better. I don't know. But yeah, it certainly weren't that great of a performance, I didn't think him. But do you know what? One thing I will say, just on Mikel Arteta as substitutions. Now, we all know, Like I said, plenty of times, yeah. Mikel Arteta is the worst in-game manager I've ever seen in my entire life. But you've got to give some credit to him yesterday. Now, Zinchenko, who I thought he didn't have a bad game, yeah? I really didn't. I thought he was all right. Up until that moment when Zinchenko was doing Zinchenko things, and everyone, you know what moment I'm going to talk about. When he got beaten by Diallo, the Ivorian Messi, I should say. When he got beaten by Ivorian Messi, he pulled his shirt straight away right near the box. Now, some might sort of say, oh, yeah, you know, he took one for the team. But don't get beat so easy like that. He gets beat literally like that. One-on-ones, absolutely pants. He's not a left back, so fair enough. But this is what he does. He gives games away. And I said to someone sat there in my seat next to me, I was like, they're going to score here. And do you know what? They nearly bloody did. Zinchenko got a yellow card for that. And do you know what Mikel Arteta actually done? Maybe for one of the first times in his managerial career. He actually noticed that Zinchenko might be a problem down that side. He's already got a yellow card. And he actually took him off. Fucking well done, Mikel Arteta. You can make very basic substitutions. Silver badge, mate. Well done to you. 5.5 years, or 4.5 years, I should say 5 years actually in the job. I'll get it right eventually. 5 years into the job, and finally he's learning this. When a centre back, when a centre midfielder is playing at left back out of position, and he gets beaten constantly on the one-on-ones, you take him off after he gets a yellow card. Wow, he's only just figured that out in 5 years. I mean, good for you. But one thing I will say about yesterday is do you know what? It gave me a little bit more confidence. Now, I was confident we'd beat Manchester United in the FA Cup anyway, but it actually gave me a little bit more confidence that we should absolutely fucking be beating them in the FA Cup home draw, which I think's on the weekend of, is it maybe the 11th to the 12th or the 10th to the 11th? It's something like that. You know, I see Mikel Arteta obviously pulling out the old excuse bin already. Did anyone see his press conference? I mean, you probably did, where he was basically sort of saying, you know, every year we sort of get a hard round in the third or fourth round. I'm not up for that stuff. I'm sorry. I'm not all about that, you know. You've got to beat these teams anyway. You weren't making them excuses when you first got in, Mikel, and you beat Manchester City in the semi-final and then Chelsea in the final. You weren't making them excuses then. You beat them and you won it. You know, you can't just whinge because you lost to a Liverpool team at home where you should have been 3-0 up at half-time and you didn't. You lost the game 2-0. That wasn't because you drew Liverpool. It's because you were unable to beat Liverpool. The team on it that you assembled were unable to take the chances. Manchester City, we actually put a good performance the year before at the Etihad, but I think, was it Aki that scored a goal 1-0 and they beat us? They were there. We actually played well, but we didn't take any chances that we had. You know, everyone would be waxing lyrical if we won them games, but I'm sorry, you know, you can't be whinging about that. You will face them in the end, and the proof in the pudding is that Mikel Arteta faced the top teams. Chelsea were a top team when we played them in that 2000 side. I think they either went on or just won the Champions League. They were a good side. They had only won the league a couple of years before. So what are we doing? Yeah, I'm not all about these stupid little excuses from Mikel Arteta. It's absolutely not for me. But, you know, credit to him. He actually noticed something of a basement easy decision yesterday. And yeah, do you know what? If he can learn from there, like a little baby, you know, he's colouring outside the lines, isn't he? You know, with his crayon, all like that. And he's starting to colour a little bit more in the lines, Mikel. We've got to talk to him like a baby. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what all of these are. He's created a load of babies in terms of top gooners. So we've got to talk to them all like babies. So, you know, fair dues to him. Fair dues to him. I was interested in reading this, Hendo, bruv. He got a score of 8 on Sofa Score stats. You could see he wasn't 100% fit from his recent injury. Wow. See, this is what I'm saying. I mean, but them guys surely would have been watching the game to give him that score. Mate, I'm sorry. And this is why I don't mind sort of dividing stuff of opinion. I don't know what you thought of or anyone in the chat thought of Thomas Partey's performance. But I thought it was shit. I really thought it was shit. I thought he kept giving the ball away constantly. Yes, there were a couple of nice clipped balls through into the box. Yes, they were. I said that earlier. But I'm very sorry. He kept giving the ball away all the time and time again in that midfield. And it was destabilising any sort of attacks we were going to build up. And that's the only reason, again, why I said Declan Rice ain't there, or he's keeping Declan Rice away from that 6. Because he can, in tight spaces, with his back to goal, he can usually hold off a player, turn around, get out of a tight situation, and lay the pass on forward. And he didn't do that anywhere near enough yesterday. And I'm sorry. Like, Sofa Score, you've had a fucking stinker as well, mate, because, like, he was nowhere near an 8 for me. And Hendo, I said that as well in the stadium, mate. I totally agree with you. He didn't look fit. He didn't look fit at all. So I sort of half give him a little bit on that. Do you know what I mean? But he just won at the races. Dad, Rice was making some excellent runs. I'm glad you mentioned that because I was going to. His confidence is back, which is good news for you and England. Dad, yeah, mate. Look, I'm absolutely glad you mentioned that because it was an encouraging performance. Now, on this channel, I've never sort of been about, you have one good performance and you're like, fucking yes, that's it. We're absolutely back. We're world class. We're going to win. Rice is going to get man of the match every game again, like he did. But it's a platform to build off. Now, Declan Rice, I don't know whether he was suffering some Southgate hangover, some England issues. You know, he didn't start the season very well. Maybe he wasn't fit. I don't know or I don't care, but his performances were not up to scratch at the start of the season. It's as simple as that. But what I will say is it does look a little bit back. He has been playing a little bit better over the last couple of games. Is it any coincidences coinciding with Arsenal's better runs, better forms? You know, we're winning 4-4 now, scoring a little bit more. We kept a nice couple of clean sheets, but Dad, absolutely, mate. Not nicely observed. Jared Declan Rice was one of the better players on the field. And it's absolutely nice to see. Do you know what I mean? Because we want all our players. We've not got the squad, people, and this is no news to anyone. We have not got the squad to have passengers. So the likes of, you know, when Calafori is fit, whenever that may be, new Tommy Asu almost, doesn't he? He just comes in and just can't help himself. He just loves a sick note, that geezer. You know, you got him at sort of left back. And, you know, like I always say about Calafori, you know, you got to give him a little bit of time. But this Arsenal team and this Arsenal squad haven't got time to give. And we haven't got time to give a Declan Rice, who we spent a lot of money on, who was pretty much player of the season last year. We have not got time to let him just get to the races, finally, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 games in, and then we're 9 points behind. Or in this case, 7 sort of points behind. Do you know what I mean? We need to get all of these players on song, and Odegaard needs to stop going fucking missing and all. Vic, man, how we doing, mate? Always a pleasure to see you in there. Nice, a bit of an odd time. And there probably won't be regular because I'm off work today. We don't know, we'll see. But yeah, mate, big up Vic, always, and big up for the rest of the chat as well. And if you haven't already, drop a like and a sub. It's always greatly appreciated by me. You know that, chat. I love every single one of you. That's the only reason why I do it, really. Do you know what I mean? I love the interaction with you, and I've built a few people that come here that I really enjoy talking to every time I come on stream. So big up to you, man. Michael, and big up to you as well, my Chelsea brother. Fairly easy win yesterday. Disappointed about conceding goals. Spuds next. Yeah, got to beat that lot. Yeah. It's not a bad win for Chelsea at all, was it? And I think I see a few people sort of say it, and they're absolutely right. People are sleeping on Chelsea a little bit. Do I think it will last for 38 games this season? Probably not. But one of the things you've got going for you is, you know, you can put your fourth string out because you've got about 70 players contracted to the club. So you can put your fourth string out, let them play their little merry games into that group stage of that whatever European nonsense cup that is. Then you can play your third team when you get into the quarterfinals. Then you can get into and play your second team when you get into the semi-finals, and then you might be able to play your first team. You know what I mean? To just guarantee that you've literally won the bloody lot in Europe. You know, fair dues to Chelsea, but yeah, mate. Hopefully, you give the Spuds a spanking. I don't care about league position. I'd never like seeing Tottenham win, so I couldn't give a toss. Hopefully, you give them the absolute pounding that they deserve. Because let's face it, Tottenham are a club that were born fucking dropped on the head. That club are mentally retarded, mate. Honestly, that club born wallop straight in the head. Even their stupid little cock that they've got on the badge, he fucking was born falling straight on his nut. Absolute embarrassing club. Smash him, mate. I hope you smash him 5-0. Here we go, mate. Rashid, how we doing, brother? Always good to see you. I see you on Northside's chat yesterday. I tried sort of getting on it a little bit late last night. I was going to come on and just have a little 5-minute laugh, but it was absolutely rammed. Big up, Aaron. Keep spitting facts. Will do, brother. And likewise, mate. Set piece FC. Yeah, I'll take the win, mate. Yeah, that's it. Look, it's one of them sort of things, you know what I mean, mate? Like, yes, I wanted us to start on the front foot. I think we all did. I think we all expected to start on the front foot as well. Do you know what I mean? Just keep bang, keep the form up, keep hammering them up. Maybe we just got sucked into Manchester United stinking the place out that fucking bad. Do you know what I mean? You you could see little green waves of, floating around the Emirates. That's how rotten, stenchy they were. Do you know what I mean? It was giving off some almighty pong, mate, honestly. Maybe we just got sucked into it. I don't know. But at least we can win a different way. And, when them set pieces come together, like I said, bruv, if Big Gabs was there, he'd have had a field day, mate. And when I say he'd have probably got hat-trick, I don't mean instead of Timber and Saliba's goals, he'd have got an hat-trick on top of that. Do you know what I mean? Like, they were just vulnerable. They looked petrified every time we delivered them in. And fair dues to Bukayo Saka and Declan Rice. Their deliveries were absolutely on point. And as I said, when I can see in that from the North Bank from my seat, I've got an excellent view of them corners being whipped in. And they were petrified, them Man United defenders, mate. Everyone in that box, not even just the defenders, they were shitting themselves every time that corner went. Honestly, you could really feel the worry in every single one of their players' minds. And good, fuck them. I hate United. Michael, again, there's a reason, Real Madrid moved on Martin Odegaard. At least he wants to play at your club, unlike Mesut Ozil. Yeah, look, Martin Odegaard's a fantastic player for what, 3/4 of the season. And the only quarter that he's not, and I'm not saying about injuries, let's just assume he's fit for all 38, but he goes missing in the big ones. So, you know what I mean? He can be world-class and on his day, look world-class. He can look unbelievable. But then you start playing Manchester United and then your Liverpools and your Chelseas, and then you're just thinking, where's the geezer gone? Like, Talar again, Odegaard, I can see your name on the team sheet, but where are you? Oh, he's in the changing room still doing this, trying to G himself up in the mirror. Come on, man. He goes missing way too much, and it's a fantastic point you make, man. Even other fans can see it, boys. Vic, brother, we are basically just a pretty Stoke FC, yeah, with the sexiest Mr. Universe manager that we've ever known. But our buff-ting baby boy, Mikel Arteta, leading the helm of the sexiest team alive. Madness, isn't it? All these Arteta fucking lovers, man. What is that all shit about? Yeah, we're basically just Stoke FC. I did not enjoy watching the game last night, if I'm being honest, chaps. Boy, bruv, you're not alone, mate. You're not alone. Do you know why I didn't enjoy it? Because it was shit. 45 minutes of, the absolute worst football from both sides. It was like not even a training match, because even that's got something about it. Do you know what it was like? It was like 15th v 16th on match day 35, where none of them can get above each other. So it's just like, well, shall we just fucking turn up and just see what happens? It was just absolute vulgar, and it didn't get that much better in the second half. Let's also face it, it really didn't. Michael saying big up in the chat. Yeah, absolutely big up in the chat, man. Appreciate everyone that's locked in, man. You know it. I always do, boys. Dad, what we saying, man? Chelsea, absolutely fantastic to watch yesterday. I think the contenders chasing down Liverpool. Oh, 100% now. We're at sort of that stage in the season where we're getting to the point where you've got to start taking teams like that seriously. Now, do I think if Chelsea get into the Champions League football, they've got the squad to next season, but then they're also have to upgrade their squad again. They've got that luxury of being able to play with their full team, with an excellent squad that they actually are now assembling once a week in the Premier League, twice if you play on a Wednesday, of course, but resting for the Champions League. So they've got a very good advantage, and that you can't sleep on. I think a few people are, and I've even I slept on it at the start-ish of the season, but now with the way they're playing, the points that they're accumulating, things change in the mid-season. There's no shame in sort of changing your mind. At one stage I thought Liverpool were in a false position, but they've actually been really good. I've changed my mind and thought, wow, actually they might look the real deal here. There's no shame in that, and there's no shame in me going, do you know what, Chelsea, yeah, nah, no way. Now they're looking all right, boys. Do I think they'll win the league? No. Do I think Arsenal win the league? No. Do I think we'll finish above Chelsea? Yes, I do, but I don't think it's going to be the landslide that it's been in the last couple of seasons, if I'm being totally honest. Michael, what we're saying, yeah, clearly Lego Ed and the coaching staff worked on those set pieces in the summer. That's how you beat the Spuds too. Yeah, that's how we beat a lot of teams over the last, if you include last season. Yeah, mate. Yeah, we've beaten a lot of teams like that. And it's nice to have a plan B. Don't get me wrong. It really is. We haven't had a plan B for a long time, Arsenal. Being able to sort of score and win games from that position. But when you're playing big rivals at home, I don't want us to have to win like that. Yes, would I take it if, a draw or a loss was on the table? Of course you would. But I want us to play and beat Manchester United from open play well, knowing that Manchester United fans are going to go back and go, fuck me, that Arsenal team were good, wouldn't they? just to add to that misery. Not, oh, we got beaten by 2 set pieces. Do you know what I mean? In a really, really dull, boring shit game. Hendo, man, here's our stats, man. What we saying, Hendo? 69 touches, 1 assist, 6 accurate long ball passes. Yeah, man. Yeah, the stats ain't stacking well in my favour, are they? To Vigil's one. Yeah, 8.1 server score round. Mate, that's what I'm saying in the stadium. Maybe I sort of did get that one wrong, but every time I was looking at the ball, he seemed like he kept giving it away. But yeah, there's the sort of joys of, you know, in that debate of going to the stadium. Maybe I just focused a little bit too much on 4 of the things that he was doing wrong rather than 20 of the things he was doing right. So if that's the case, and he actually was that good, and other people in the chat or whoever I talked to say, do you know what, actually, Aaron, he was pretty good, I'll put my hands up. Yeah, maybe I got that a little bit wrong. I mean, the stats do look good, to be fair, Hendo. So I obviously appreciate you lobbing them in, mate. Do you know what I mean? Because there's accountability for everyone, mate. If I've got that one wrong, maybe I've got it a little bit wrong, my brother. Yeah, that's Michael Santi, the old man, of course. Take your position into account, but of course, you can only beat what's in front of you. Yeah, absolutely right, mate. Facts. Hendo, yeah, Vic, good afternoon, Vic. Yeah. The game was a stink vest for the majority of the match. It was, mate. It was absolutely rotten. It was like a fucking tramps boxers, wasn't it? Do you know what I mean? It just reeked. Havertz was poor, yes. Odegaard quiet, very anonymous. Saka doubled up on, as he always is. And Martinelli, man. Martinelli, I'm glad you mentioned that. Actually, I forgot about talking about him. That chance, yeah. I'm sorry. He's not a 17-year-old kid anymore, Martinelli. He's not just breaking through. He's what, 22, 23, give or take a sort of year there or thereabouts. He's on 185 grand a week. If you've got a chance against Manchester United in front of your own fans from about 7 yards out and the ball's fucking fell to you, you cannot be blasting that wide. And of course, I'm on about that early chance in the first half. You need to be putting them away. Would Mohamed Salah miss that? You know, would any of Liverpool's, even fucking, what's his name, that Darwin Núñez have probably put that in. I'm sorry, we haven't got the luxury of, you know, having these chances missed. Yes, we did win 2-0 in the end. But if we score that goal, maybe we see a whole new attacking game, because that was early on in that first half. If Manchester United, which they did once they conceded first, Amarin made 3 changes almost instantaneously. Onana stopped taking 25 minutes on the ball. You know, maybe we'd have seen sort of a different attacking game in open play for us. Ifs and buts, of course. But, you know, Hendo, what you saying, mate? The Newcastle v Liverpool match was 1,000 times better than Arsenal v United, and it bloody looked it, mate. I only watched highlights on Match of the Day very briefly last night. But, yeah, it did look a belt. I mean, 3-3. You know, it's probably going to be, isn't it, mate? I'm glad I no longer go to the Emirates. It's much better to just see it on TV. Yeah, listen, man, I've sort of said it sometimes and time before. There are sometimes, it's Man United, I was never not going to go yesterday. But there are games, I'm ashamed to admit, there are some games where I just think, especially when we're playing bad, you know, like most of the season, it's difficult to get yourself up, you know, sometimes, especially the midweek games. You've got work, you've had work all day, you've been up early from getting to work. It's nothing that no one has to deal with, but then you've got to get to the game. And that whole drive, knowing that you're going to watch an absolute bore fest. And then you get to the stadium, you watch a bore fest. You come home after watching an absolute bore fest. It can be a little bit frustrating, whereas in the telly, you know what I mean, you've got your feet up. And you know, you can sort of go about your sort of day as whatever during, before, or after the game. I'll get you, bruv. I'll get you. It can be a little bit draining, mate. I'm not going to lie. I'm just playing the long game with it. You know what I mean? Hopefully, not this season, but, you know, allowing to go to games. Hopefully I'll see something this year in terms of silverware. Not in the league, but hopefully I do, mate. Do you know what I mean? Hopefully the loyalty is rewarded. Vic, what you saying? I like the way Chelsea managers got them playing so direct and attacking. Yeah, I know. Yeah, and he's done it within, 3 months, 4 months? Well, I want that at our club, if I'm being honest. Yeah, Chelsea also score so many goals too. Now, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, why haven't we got that? You know, he's in month 5 probably. Maresca, Arteta's in year 5, and he's gone back to the football that he started, that pragmatic football, when he just got through over the line. It won us an FA Cup, yes, but how can phase 1 just revert straight back to phase 5? It's exactly the same thing. Only you spent 800 million. You've got slightly better players, but they haven't won anything. it's madness when you start going in that little loop, mate. This definitely show. I don't want to get into that. That's for another show. But getting into that little loop is fucking loco, people, mate. Absolute loco. It drives me mad. Hendo, my brother. Chelsea looking more like title rivals to Liverpool. The way they're playing football, yes. Chelsea have the squad depth. Arsenal do not. 100% inarguable there, bruv. We are, again, just a couple of injuries from disaster, mate. And yeah, that's the worrying sort of thing, you know. One thing I will say, and I know Odegaard does go missing. One thing I will say is, whilst Jesse is replaceable, when Odegaard doesn't play for a consistent number of games, i.e. 5 or 6, in 4 of them, we usually do miss him rather. So I think, you know, I think if he was to again get another sort of injury, that would be damages. But of course, the biggest damage would be Bukayo Saka. Obviously, in terms of attack, you know, he's delivering, isn't he, that boy this season? And do you know what? Just quickly, while I'm nudging on Bukayo Saka, because I think you boys will agree with me, and anyone watching on catch up or whatever. I think there is a world-class player eventually in Bukayo Saka. I think we all sort of know that anyway. That's not new news. But do you know what I think he needs? He just needs to have a bit more arrogance, a bit more selfishness about him. And I think as soon as he starts walking out on that field, whether he is or not, and just thinking, I'm the best player out on here. This is my stadium. This is my ground. I'm going to be better than every single one of you on there. Instead of, you know, the nice guy, the sweet kid that he's sort of reported to be. I think if he gets that bit more arrogance about him, that will take him to that next level, because the quality and the skill, and it is there. But maybe it's just that last little step, that arrogance of thinking he's a world-class player, that might actually sort of get him there, you know. We'll obviously have to wait and see on that one, but that's just my take on it. Michael saying, any of you guys got Manchester United? Have you guys got Manchester United in the third round of the FA Cup too? Yeah. Well, they go right way. To be fair, like I said a little bit earlier, Michael, mate, I actually think that today's game, albeit yesterday's game, we hardly blew them away, did we? But if anything, I'm a little bit more encouraged just on the fact that, you know, we can sort of beat this Amram team. Now we know how he's going to set up. We've almost had a dress rehearsal for that FA Cup round. Now, maybe we'll see some teams changed, you know, maybe a slight few players will be rested, maybe on both teams. I don't really know, but I was confident on beating Manchester United at home in the FA Cup anyway. Let's just get that absolutely right from the bat. But yeah, I'm a little bit more confident now, to be fair, because I'd like us to hope that whilst I know that corner win, you know, them set piece wins are there in our game, I'd like us to start a little bit better. And I expect us definitely to start playing a little bit better in that FA Cup game, 100%. I mean, it's a fact. To be fair, Aaron, yeah, mate, Party was the best out of a bad bunch. Yeah, like I said, man, I'm quite happily if I have sort of got a couple of takes wrong. Do you know what I mean? It's not as bad as Zerkamp, the Ivorian Messi in the last 24 hours. So do you know what I mean? If I've had a little bit of a stinker there, I'll put my hands up, man. I don't ever mind being a little bit wrong. If he was better, then that means he's actually not crap or pulled a stinker or a little bit out of form. You know, hopefully he just carries on his good form then that he has been in the season. That's a win for me. I don't mind being wrong in them scenarios, man. Martinelli is just not getting the coaching to improve him. And this is a big point, man, and take him to the next level. He's regressing under Tapas Pulis. Yeah, man. Yeah, listen, that's a great point, Hendo. An absolutely fantastic point. Maybe is he even sort of being played a little bit out of position now? I know in the 21, 22 or 22, 23 seasons, gone out my head, that he was actually, he was fantastic on that left wing, but that was only one season, you know, and we were playing proper from the off every single game, so it probably suited him a bit more. I agree with you, mate. I'm compelled to agree with you. He's not getting the coaching that he needs. Maybe, and I don't know why Arteta hasn't actually done it in game to, you know, maybe put, say, Trossard on the left, and instead of doing a like-for-like swap for Trossard and Martinelli, why don't you just take maybe, you know, move Kai Havertz away or take him off as well and put Trossard on the left and have Martinelli up top? I don't know why you don't ever just give him a little go up there. What do you think in the chat? Like, do you think that that's such an easy sub or an easy change of tactic to make, ain't it? You know, I don't know why he's not been giving him a chance. I don't know if any of you boys agree that he should be given a little, even a 20 minutes in an odd game, maybe even one where we're 3-0 up or 4-0 up or coasting. Put Martinelli up top. Do you know what I mean? You don't always just have to take him off in a like-for-like sub. But look, I might be wrong. Vic, what we saying, man? Can anyone tell me one good thing Kai the donkey did? Kyler Donkey, eh? Kyler Donkey. Yeah, I don't really think he done a lot, mate, to be fair with you. Hence the video. He can just go absolutely anonymous. When he's sort of like a really poor man's Harlem about the finishing. When he don't score, he don't fucking do anything, does he? And yeah, I mean a severe poor man's. I mean a Haaland's from Wish, he don't do anything, does he? And I agree, he can just get lost in so many games where that don't suit him. Maresca seems to keep keeping a large squad happy and balanced at the moment. Yeah, and to be fair, like I said, that's because you're in a third tier European competition and you've got 2 or 3 fucking squads. Do you know what I mean? He's able to get that nice rotation really without knowing that you've got any threat of losing a game in that competition. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, to be fair, he's still got to keep that squad happy. He's still got to rotate well. So hands up to him. Yeah, absolutely fair dues. Yeah, I agree with you, Hendon, mate. I can see Chelsea battering Spurs. I really can. Is it home or away, that Chelsea Spurs game? If it's at Stamford Bridge, then yeah, I mean, yeah, I can really see a big one. Yeah, world-class players can shrug off being doubled up on and still play and make a positive impact on a match. Yeah, and that's what I mean. Maybe it's just a little bit up top, like with sort of Bukayo Saka, but whilst being doubled up on, he's not always beating them, but he is still producing some sort of numbers. But I just think he needs to have a bit of arrogance, that little bit of I'm the best player on here to sort of see him sort of through there. Do you know what I mean? To get him to that next stage, because the skill is there, the talent is there, that's without a doubt. Offensively going forward, I must say, has been excellent. Offensively in the goalkeeper, there are still major questions. Yeah, top 4 likely. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that goalkeeper, man, you need to get rid of him. Like he is a stinky goalkeeper, that Sanchez. You need to get rid of him, sharpish. I don't know how you've still got him as your number 1 when you've bought about fucking 30 goalkeepers, mate. It's madness. And to be fair as well, over the years, you've had really good goalkeepers, didn't you, Chelsea? And 2 long-term ones. Peter Cech was fantastic. Even Carlo Cudicini before him was actually pretty on point, wasn't he? Let's face it. And then obviously you went to Courtois. But yeah, this Sanchez, man, yeah, he's no good, man. I think if he needs to be, yeah, good to see. Yeah, 100% Martinelli. Yeah, I totally agree with you, mate. Spurs playing at home. Yeah, so I mean, maybe you'll only beat them 4-0 instead of 6-0, boys. Do you know what I mean? Especially Michael, you might only beat them the 4. I hope you do, man. With things like that, I can give a toss if it helps us in the title race, whether it's a 1 or a 2. I want to see Spurs lose miserably in every single game. We've got rivalry with Chelsea, but I can't stand Spurs. I hope you absolutely pace them, mate. Couldn't give a toss. Havertz had a shot, which was saved comfortably by Onana. Other than that, that was about it. I know, yeah, that's literally all they've got in the locker, mate. Maresca's only been at Chelsea since the summer. He's done really well, and that's an absolute fact, mate. I totally agree. 5 months he's been there, and he's got them playing and ticking quite well. I know, the foundation there was good, but a lot of my other good managers failed to get a tune out of them. But he's done it in 5 months. Fair dues. And it will get better as the team settle to a style of play. Yeah, 100%, mate. Yeah, he's no way near implemented it all, is he? In that first sort of 5 months that he's been there. So just quickly before I move on, so I want to just briefly nudge and get your sort of guys' take on the Liverpool game. So while I'm going to read out Vic's next question, I'll ask you. I know where I sit on it. I'm just asking you, boys. Liverpool's obviously drew. There's 7 points now. If Arsenal were to get back into the title race, how many points behind Liverpool do you think we need to be on January the 1st? Now, it's all hypothetical. I still don't think at all we're going to win the league. It's just a hypothetical question, whereas, let's just say, for example, we did take a certain amount of, they dropped a few points and we did sort of claw it back and keep clawing that 7 points back. What's the points for you lot? Where do you think we need to be at least behind them on the 1st of January? While I read out this Vic's question, I'm quite interested to see where everyone else's head's at. So I've got about a points total. So Vic's saying, why did Mikel sub Martinelli for Trossard? He always does it, bruv. Always. That's just like for like and no tactical change. I'd rather see him put Trossard or Jesus up top for Kai and go kill United. But no, it's Mr. Negative. Yeah, and that's sort of what I was saying, Vic, a little bit before. Do you know what I mean? Like, why not get Trossard on for Kai Havertz and just put Martinelli up top, maybe. You know, I know he didn't have his best game, but just try something new. Like, you know, the game wouldn't have changed drastically that much. Do you know what I mean? Why not try something new? But that's the thing with Mikel Arteta. He just does. I just don't think he's got that tactical now. Since why I always come and say on here, he's the worst in-game tactical manager, especially at Arsenal. Pardon me, I've ever seen. It's almost inarguable. If someone can put forward another candidate, please, I would like to know. But cheers always, Vic, for your questions. Yeah, and Hendo sort of come in. Arsenal need to be around 3 points by January the 1st. Yeah, I'm sort of the only reason. I mean, I agree with you. I'd love to be at least 3 points because then I think we are firmly back in the title race. Yes, I'm sort of more with a Vic here. And I'll give the reasons why. So Vic Sam, we need to be around 4 or 5 points behind. Liverpool will drop points. The question is, will we drop more? Of course we will. So I'm going to elaborate on both, yeah? So the reason why I'm sort of more with maybe Vic's 4 or 5 points is because, one, realistically, obviously, I don't see us making the ground up for the 3 points. But as you quite rightly say, you know, they have got a tricky, they've got a tricky away game at Everton, which is the last Merseyside derby at Goodison Park as well, people, you know, and it's the early kickoff. There is, you know, an opportunity sort of there. Them Everton fans and them, you know, them players should be bang up for that. But yeah, the reason sort of why I'm saying maybe 4 behind is because I think it's more realistic that we're there behind. And if you're 4 or 5 behind, that's 2 games, yeah. So that's 2 games you need to make up on Chelsea and make up on Liverpool. And we play them at Anfield. Now, I know that's a tricky sort of game, but you go there and you have to win. And then it's 1 more game after that. So I'm sort of there in the notion of if you can get between 2 results and you're also playing them, so that's like almost a sort of 6-pointer in itself, maybe we have a chance. If we get into the 1st of January, 4 points behind, I think, do you know what? I'll still think Liverpool will probably win the league at that point. I just want to get my point across right. I won't think we're favourites, but would I maybe change my tune on it at 4 points? I'll go nicely in between the 3 and the 5 at 4. I'll probably go, do you know what? We've got a chance here. I won't believe in terms of thinking we're going to do this, but I'll think, do you know what? We need a few bits to go our way. There's still a lot of work to do. And quite rightly, what Vic says, will we win all our games? I don't know. But from the 1st of January, there's a chance. And that's sort of where I'm coming at it. Sort of, I'll take her dad saying, great tactical move, changing his hair gel at half time. Yeah. Didn't have a hair out of place. Yeah, that video, man. What was that geezer all about? Oh, there isn't a hair out of place. That is just rotten, isn't it, man? Yeah, Michael, what you saying, brother? I've no idea how Maresca was going to cope with a big club like Chelsea, but yeah, he's done very well despite us being a revolving door and issues behind the scenes. Yeah, like Hendo's saying, yeah, with that, mate, you're spot on, fella. He's navigated the issues at Chelsea very well, of course, coming from Man City. Yeah, exactly right, mate. Yeah, 100%. So before I wrap up, I am doing my first Premier League watch along. I've done one watch along before in the Cup, but this Sunday, I think, obviously we've got Fulham away. I'll be starting something at 1:45, so 15 minutes before kickoff. I'm going to have another go at the watch along. I think it went all right last time, but I'm going to give it another go. Why not? And then I'll probably stay on for another 15 sort of minutes afterwards, you know, having a little bit of chat and a bit of analysis and whatnot. But what's that? Oh, yeah. Vic, I've just seen you in the chat. Yeah, fucker, and it's hilarious. But yeah. So make sure you do join me for that. I'm nearly wrapped up, and Vic, I know you'll definitely be interested in it. I've made a thumbnail. I'm nearly finished with my show, and it's going to be all about the finances and the money in Arsenal in terms of they're taking the piss out of us. It's going to have a full merch watch. It's going to have some season tickets. There's something I'm going to show you lot and how they're trying to rip and scam on season tickets. Don't miss that. The Vic's put in some bits about emails and them trying to. I don't want to go too much into it, but it's nearly done and it's going to be ready for next week. So make sure you tune in for that. I've got a few bits coming up, and also when the transfer window sort of starts coming in January, I'm going to have a whole new show. I'm probably going to do maybe at the end of the week, maybe midweek and the end of the week. I'll announce that in a little bit of time. But there's a few bits I've got coming up. But before I wrap up, chat, man, as always, big up 150% for always coming in here, man. It's always greatly appreciated. You know that. I will catch you lot very soon. Make sure just before you leave, you drop a cheeky little like and subscribe. And yeah, man, always a pleasure for coming. Thank you very much. And yeah, I'm gonna go enjoy the rest of my Thursday. Do you know what I mean? I'm gonna go spend a little bit of time with my daughter. My missus has just dropped her off. So yeah, enjoy whatever you're doing, man. And I will catch you for the next one. Big up.